Yesterday, the Nigerian army said that they have a lot of their men who are in critical conditions for different reasons, and he said some of the reasons are because they don't take care of the Nigerian army and all of the people in those security outfits. He said, and this has affected them in so many ways. Yes, remember that in many of the battles that the Nigerian army go for, most of them are always killed, especially in Nigeria when they have to, fight with Boko Haram and the likes. Remember that they have always had a lot of issues coming back and all of that. And it is because they lack weapons. And remember that the last time Nigerians were requesting the former chief of army, Mr. Atahiro, when he requested that the weapons that was supposedly, supposedly to be purchased, that where is it or where did they keep it? And that story has been going on round and round and round, and yet there's yet to still be an answer to that question. Remember that about a few weeks ago they said, oh, the Super Tucano is here, but they did not show Nigerians if truly it was here. It was just a news that flew for just some few hours, and that was it. But anyway, the Nigerian army has come forward to explain what most of their men are suffering from, and many are in the hospital. But still, it is their fault, because when they come back to tell Nigerians, they tell Nigerians that, nothing happened to their men, that they were victorious in their battle and all of that. So it is still their fault that they are going through all of this, because if Nigerians are aware that this is what is happening with the Nigerian army, most people would still protest that our Nigerian army needs, a lot of weapons to fight. They need all of these things to protect Nigerians. But well, let us see what is happening, what the Nigerian government is saying, and how the Nigerian army reported the current situation of things with their men. Yes, the Nigerian army said yesterday that about 7,403 soldiers wounded in action are currently undergoing medical treatment at the 44 Nigerian Army Reference Hospital, Kaduna. The acting chief medical director of the 44 NARHK, Colonel Stephen Onochukwu, disclosed this while briefing the Senate delegation led by its president, Hamad Lawan, on the challenges facing the 600-bed Army hospital. The Senate donated 10 million naira to some of the wounded soldiers undergoing treatment. Onochukwu said some of the wounded soldiers were maimed for life and required cutting-edge medical facilities to keep them alive. Onochukwu, at an orthopedic consultant, specifically declared that at 44 Army Reference Hospital alone, a total of 7,403 soldiers wounded in action had been received treatment, while some were still undergoing treatment. He said since the war against insurgency, about 7,403 wounded in action, military personnel have been evacuated to this hospital for very urgent medical attention. While some of such wounded personnel got treated and discharged with different forms of deformities, some are maimed for life. Those in this category are the ones with spinal cord injury being assisted with urethral implant for them to urinate. Some also have their legs and hands amputated as a result of cancerous injuries sustained at the battlefront. Some also have their legs and hands amputated as a result of cancerous injuries sustained at the battlefront. These aside other being rehabilitated from physical, emotional, and psychological injuries. He said the hospital, among others, has 5 suites of theaters, an 8-bed intensive care unit, a state-of-the-art radiology department, and an endoscopy unit, among others. He, however, said despite the increased capacity of the hospital, some special procedures and treatments are still done abroad. He therefore appealed to the National Assembly and by extension the federal government to assist the hospital attain the status of UN Level 4 hospital. In his remarks, the Senate President Hamad Lawan assured that the legislature would work with the executive to ensure that the armed forces is properly resourced and motivated. He added that the 895 billion naira supplementary budget recently forwarded to the National Assembly by the presidency for the purchase of military equipment and COVID-19 vaccines would be expeditiously considered and passed, adding that more funds would be appropriated for the military in the 2022 budget. Lawan said the country's mounting security would expose the military personnel to different forms of injuries, thus the need for more medical facilities to cater for the needs of the wounded soldiers. We can't expect so much from you and give you little. That will be unfair. Our armed forces deserve the support of all Nigerians. We have to give them adequate resources to protect the country because everything needs peace and security. The Senate delegation, along with the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, and the General Officer commanding 1st Mechanized Division, Major General Ali Kefi, later visited the wounded in action patients across the various wards. Other members of the Senate delegation were the Senate leader Yahaya Abdullahi, the chief whip, Oji Uzokalu, the deputy Senate leader Ajayi Boroface, and Senate deputy chief whip Aliyu Sabi Abdullahi, the Senate deputy minority whip Sahabi Yo, and the chairman, Senate Service Committee, Senator Sani Musa. So obviously, armed forces indeed need a lot of care, because if we must talk about, protection of Nigerians by these guys, they need attention. But unfortunately, remember the last time NSAS protesters were protesting, they actually were fighting for the rights of those people, saying you don't expect such people to go to war without nothing. You don't expect these people to behave well without them being motivated with good salaries. You don't expect them to protect other Nigerians when they feel they and their families are also not safe and protected. So Nigerians were actually crying out, but unfortunately it seemed they didn't get the message. They were rather in front, the ones who were given the order to go kill the Nigerians, who were rather protesting for their well-being. So this is where the confusion is coming from. And when you talk about civilians and military in Nigeria, they are just two words apart, because civilians are not friends with militaries in Nigeria. They are two words apart. They just feel like they are enemies. That is the major truth. So if we want to move this country forward for these armies to really enjoy their lives, I believe they should work with civilians. They see civilians as their enemies, and civilians also see them as enemies. But that shouldn't be it. They should be friends. A civilian should see an army and believe, yes, I am protected, I am safe. And at the same point, a military should also see a civilian and also believes that, okay, these guys would fight for our rights if we request for anything. That is how it should be. But unfortunately, I don't know the orientation they are giving, so they always see civilians as their enemies. But all the same, guys, you've heard it all. These guys go through a whole lot. But that is it from here. Drop your comment, let us hear what you have to say. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do have a pleasant time. Bye for now.